Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Mitchell. I'm the Director of Enrollment Management here at Morristown Beard School. It is great to see you back on campus. And on behalf of the admission team, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our Upper School Transition event tonight. This is the second of two sessions this evening. As I said before, the previous session was focused on the middle school. The purpose of the program tonight is to provide an overview for our academic, extracurricular, and student life programs from experts who will be working with your children every day. At the conclusion of this session, we invite you to join us in the lobby to mingle a little bit with faculty and our families that are in attendance this evening. We have a packed agenda, so let's jump right into it. At this time, it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Ryan Lease, the head of Upper School. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Mitchell said, I'm Ryan Lease. I'm the head of the Upper School. It's great to have all of you here. It's exciting to see this group starting to come together and join us in Founders for the first time. The goal of tonight is to provide you with some information about both our academic program, but also about the transition more broadly into MBS and what you can expect along the way. So there's going to be some academic information, some information about social events, orientations, support systems that exist here. So hopefully you'll get a good amount of information that you will find useful. Many of you probably haven't memorized our website, but if you had looked at our website related to academics specifically, you would have seen these statements on there, particularly under the Upper School section, and it very much encapsulates what our approach to academics, what our approach to teaching and learning is at MBS. We want to develop critical thinking skills, we want to develop students' problem-solving abilities, we want to develop them as independent thinkers, and we want to help them see connections between various concepts, various disciplines, so that when they leave MBS, they are prepared for whatever the future has in store. This reveals itself, this sort of approach to education reveals itself in our curriculum in a number of different ways. If you joined us for any of our information sessions, you'll find a lot of this information was covered very briefly during those sessions, but given that you are all on your way to being here in the fall, we thought we'd give you a little bit more. One of the specific ways you'll see that is in our Earned Honors program. So our Earned Honors program, as you can see here, connects to a number of different courses, many of them in the 9th grade. For those of you who are joining us in 9th grade, you will see this next year. And it allows our students to determine for themselves if they are ready for the rigor and challenge of honors level work. You can see the profile of an honors student on the right-hand side there, and sort of the characteristics of someone who's learning at that level. It's really helpful for us as a school for a number of different reasons. One, it matches philosophically what we believe. And two, many of you are coming from all sorts of different backgrounds when it comes to education. Some of you have perhaps been in a school with an honors program. Some of you perhaps have not. None of you are coming in from our middle school, and so it allows us to really turn the reins over to you to determine what you are ready for, rather than us have an arbitrary placement for you in some of these classes headed into 9th grade or 10th grade, if that happens to be the case as well. So while it's a logistical benefit, it also philosophically matches what we believe. So when Ms. Romero joins us later and is talking about some of the graduation requirements and the courses that you can look forward to next year, know that Earned Honors is one of those options in a number of those courses. You'll also see that same approach to teaching and learning in our advanced course offerings. We do have a number of advanced placement courses, but we also wanted to design our own courses which provide the college level experience without necessarily tying us to a test at the end of the course that is not designed by us and not something that we control. So it gives our teachers a lot of freedom to craft some very unique experiences. It allows our students to explore these topics in more depth and creates a really exciting environment in the classroom. And you see them mostly in the 11th and 12th grade year. Outside of AP courses, Our college level course offerings fall into two other categories, and you can see them up there, advanced topics and advanced studies. I'm going to talk about advanced studies just briefly, explaining a little bit of the difference. Our advanced studies courses are within a single department or a single discipline. So something like organic chemistry or modernist literature would fall in the science department or the English department respectively. And those are courses, again, that are at the college level, but not necessarily tied to the curriculum of an advanced placement course. Our advanced topics courses are interdisciplinary in nature. They are designed to blend and blur the line between the departments which we have at the school. So I'll show you some examples of those. Both advanced topics and advanced studies are often taught in the discussion and seminar-based format, but the advanced topic classes will draw from a number of disciplines in creating those experiences. And these are the 6 that are available next year. Again, this is generally for juniors and seniors, but it gives you something to sort of think about and look forward to. These courses, our advanced topics courses, exist on a 2-year cycle. So they will run for 2 consecutive years, and then they will cycle off. There are times when we bring some of these courses back, sometimes after a hiatus and sometimes right away. So it depends on student interests, what the teacher is looking to provide. But it's a great opportunity. It's a lot of fun for our teachers, too, to be able to offer these courses. So I share these with you not because everyone in here will take one, but again, it sort of matches that curricular philosophy that we have that is a lot about exploration. Regardless of where you choose to devote your time academically, you will have a lot of options to take challenging course load. You can see the number of different ways you can take an advanced course offering. And this doesn't even include an independent study, which is another really fun opportunity that we offer students. One of the ways that we engage students technically in an academic sense, but not in the traditional classroom setting, is through our interdisciplinary concentrations program. So I'm going to welcome my good friend, our Chief Innovation Officer, Mr. Darren Burns, to come explain a little bit more about that opportunity, which starts really at the end of 9th grade, beginning of 10th grade.
Thank you, Mr. Leese. Welcome. Congratulations on your acceptance to Morristown Beard. Welcome to the community. It's good to see so many familiar faces, a lot of new faces, even some alums that are here with their children now. So it's a nice cycle of work that we do here, and hopefully the school that you see today and the programs that you hear about today look a little bit different than the programs that you hear about and maybe were part of when you were in high school, and that's kind of our goal. Certainly Morristown Beard is leading the boundaries in terms of innovation in our education program. And you heard a few of those from Mr. Leese, whether it's our earned honors, our advanced studies, our advanced topics, our independent studies. All of these create kind of pathways for students to find their passion here at MBS. This is the most credentialed group of young adolescents I've ever seen in my time. I've been here for 26 years. Students coming through the middle school, the high school programs now are involved in so much more, have so much more depth to their academic program, have so many more interests outside of their academic day. And that's wonderful, as we're certainly creating well-rounded individuals here at MBS, but what we're trying to do is create a little bit more stickiness in those individuals as they move on through high school and into college and beyond. One of the ways that we do that is through the ICP program. We certainly have students coming into school interested in the arts, interested in athletics, interested in their academic studies, but the kind of intersection of those topics, whether it's art and innovation, ethics, leadership, and justice, or data science and data analysis and research methods, the kind of intersection of those disciplines hopefully brings another curiosity to some of our students and allows them to get involved in some of our programming that supports this ICP program. And how it works is at the end of your 9th grade year, about a year from now, students will apply for the program, go through a brief interview process, and it starts in the fall of their 10th grade year. They enter one of the 3 cohorts. They have weekly meetings with those cohort groups, and they rotate through each of these cohorts on the list. And then they're supported with that with real good teacher mentoring, a speaker series, and some trips within the school community that we do locally in Morristown and a little bit beyond. So it allows our students to kind of find some connectedness to things that are not unique to one particular discipline, but that kind of ask some big questions about our society, about our campus, about our community, and allows them to dive in with really interesting teachers here and mentors and students that are like-minded in these areas to kind of find their passion. And from that, in 11th and 12th grade, they kind of do some small group work and then individual work for their senior project, where they come out with a cumulative kind of project based on some of their academic work and ICP cohorts to allow them to have a cumulative capstone project. So I bring it to you not because today you need to jump in, but just another way in which we kind of differ our academic programs, allow the students to kind of find connectivity beyond the academic classes and beyond some of the traditional pathways. So hopefully I'll be outside afterwards. If you have some questions, come see me. Or if you saw the video about the CID out front with the drone flying through, I'll be happy to talk to you about that. But welcome to MBS. We're happy to have you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Rosia Romero, and I am the Dean of Academics, and I'm also the Director of Academic Scheduling and Analytics. And what that means is that I will be creating your schedules this summer, and I will be needing your help to create your schedules. So I want to just go over a few things so that you understand our academic program. I will try to be brief. There's a lot of things that we can cover, but we have limited time. So I just want to first introduce you to our graduation requirements. And as you can see behind me, all students are required to take 4 years of English, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. On the other hand, we have math, history, science, world language, and science that students need to take 3 years only. We also have wellness. Students need to enroll in 2.5 years of wellness electives. That's actually wellness 9, 10, integrative health, and 1 semester of wellness. And lastly, students need to take 2 years of art. And that means that you can select performing arts or art and design. And that is going to be your task tonight, mostly. I want you to start thinking about what electives you want to take, and I will be talking about them shortly. At some point, and I'm not sure when, but you will have access on your parent portal to these graduation planners. And what these graduation planners do is that they help you map out your academic studies here at MBS. Now, my expectation is not for you to go home, download these planners, and start looking at what you're going to do in the next 4 years. That is not your task. That is going to be our task, specifically the Office of the Upper School Academic Dean. I am going to be working with you to making sure that you have a path that you want to follow. I want you to think of a passion. I want you to think about where your interest lies, so that then you can come talk to me, and then we can think about what are the courses and electives that would benefit you in pursuing your path. So for tonight, as I said, you need to think about just art and design, performing arts, and world language, okay? So to start, I think some of you have already taken a placement exam that you may have chosen either French, Latin, or Spanish. So I think it's really important for you to know that choosing a language in 9th grade is crucial because you are required to take 3 years of the same language. So if you want to choose French, ideally you want to take 3 years of French. You can take another language, and some students do that. But if you want to switch languages after 9th grade, that means that then you have to take the same language, 10, 11, and 12. So students can do that, but ideally you want to stick to the same language. And most students do take 4 years of the same language in the upper school, okay? Now, I get this question asked often. What happens if you place into a level that may not seem right for you? That happens often, but I have to say the World Language Department gets it right 9 out of 10 times. We're pretty good about knowing where to place students. So if you place into one of our levels, and notice that we don't have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have introductory, novice, foundational building, intermediate experience, and advanced language. If you place into a level that may not seem right to you, at the beginning of the year, our faculty is phenomenal at addressing whether you are in the right place or not. So we have a few weeks to figure that out, and we can always make adjustments, okay? But as always, I want you to remember, if you have any questions, come to me, and I'm happy to answer them, okay? And that applies also to math. When you get your placement at the beginning of June, you will know, you will see that whether you're in integrated math 1, integrated math 2, or 3. If it doesn't seem right to you, we're happy to answer any questions you may have, but also the math department is excellent at placing students. We know how to place students, and if we do make an error, then we are very quick at addressing it and changing a student and putting them into the right class, okay? So I just want you to know that. Now, this is what I was referring to at the beginning. Notice this graphic behind me. It's a bit complicated, but all you need to think about is the entry-level courses on the far left. There's 3 courses that all 9th graders, and I know I have a few 10th and 11th graders, and I will address your concerns separately, but in terms of art, to meet your graduation requirements at MBS, if you want to take an art design course, you need to think about either choosing Foundations Studio or Foundations Digital. Those 2 are year-long classes. By taking these courses, these Foundations courses, you will be able to take the intermediate and advanced level courses. If you don't take the Foundations courses in 9th grade, it's far more difficult for you to enroll in classes such as Graphic Design and Marketing or Art 3. That may not happen later on, so you need to think about that when you complete your art elective form, which I will mention later on when that is going to be available. Just very quickly, the difference between Foundation Studio and Digital, okay? So if you like to do, let's just say, Procreate, or you like to use Adobe Photoshop, actually you might want to choose Foundations Digital. But if you like to draw and paint, actually you might think about Foundations Studio, okay? We have very thorough explanations on the form that I'm going to give you access to. So you don't have to remember anything that I said tonight, but do take a look at the form and you can read the explanations, okay? Then we also have performing arts. So if you want to learn about discipline and creative thinking and collaboration, I highly recommend a performing arts course. We have dance courses. Typically, most students place into introductory dance, but if students do have some prior experience, they can take an audition, do an audition with Ms. Eventer, and they can place into the dance ensemble or the advanced dance courses, and those are year-long classes. We also have a very unique program to MBS, which is TAP. We have 2 levels. We have TAP and advanced TAP. Typically, students either start in 6th grade doing TAP, and they go their way through senior year, or students like you, they can start TAP in 9th grade, and they continue taking TAP all the way through senior year. So I invite you to consider those courses. They are outstanding. And we also have our ensemble courses such as chorus, string ensemble, jazz ensemble, contemporary percussion ensemble, which are 3-year-long electives. And we also have a semester course, which is piano skills. You do not need to know how to learn the piano. This is where you are going to learn how to start playing the piano. So again, think about those courses if you want. And you could do, in 9th grade, you could do an ensemble course, and then 10th grade, you could do an art and design course, or vice versa. And so you know, I would say about 75% of students at MBS take at least 3 years of art courses. So keep that in mind. We also offer some of our theater electives, and that would be either a semester of theater, a semester of acting, stagecraft, or a year-long class of technical theater. If you want to work in the booth back there and you want to be able to run these kinds of meetings, you take technical theater in 9th grade, and this is a pretty cool course that we offer. We also have more advanced music courses, such as foundations music, music theory, fundamentals of studio recording, electronic music composition, and film scoring. Now, keep in mind that these last courses that I just mentioned, these are primarily for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students. So freshmen or rising freshmen, you really need to be thinking about, in the performing arts, you're thinking about dance or the chorus, the ensemble classes, foundations, music, acting, stagecraft, or technical theater. And again, all this will be specified on the form that I am going to be, the admissions team is going to be sharing with you on Wednesday. No, did I go too far? I did go too far. Hold on. Okay, so we also have our computational and information sciences department. Now, this is a convoluted form, and I don't want you to get scared by that. That's a lot going on behind me. I want you to think about CASI 1, which is Computer Arts and Sciences 1, which is a year-long elective. It's basically the equivalent of a college-level semester course. So if you're interested in computer science, that would be a great choice. Just keep in mind that in 9th grade, you are required to take, we have an 8-period schedule. And if you think about the classes that you have to take, you need to count, you need to be in English, math, history, science, word language, wellness, and an art elective. That's 7 courses. If you decide to take a computer arts and sciences course for the entire year, that means that you will have no free period or study hall. 90% of freshmen take 1 free period in the spring and 1 study hall in the fall. So I highly recommend that you think about keeping the free period to yourself to see teachers. And I think you're going to hear more about that shortly, but I just want to let you know that computer arts and science is a great elective, but you don't have to enroll into this elective right away. You can wait for 10th or 11th or 12th grade if you want, okay? And now we get to my favorite part, because this is where we talk about that form that I've been referring to at the beginning. So 9th graders, this is just for rising 9th grade students. On Wednesday, you will get an email from our admissions team with a link to a Google form. And on this Google form, you will see specifically all the electives that you can choose from. Now, keep in mind, you may choose an elective, but it may not necessarily fit in your schedule. I just want you to keep that in mind. So you are going to give me a few choices, and you're going to tell me what you prefer, and I am going to take those choices and then put them on a course request list, which you will have access to on, where do we have that? On June 3rd, okay? So that you will have access to on June 3rd, but please make sure that you complete the form by May 10th. That way I can hopefully choose the elective of your choice and then put that on your course request list, which will also include your placement for math and world language. So at that point, if you have any questions regarding your placement, you can always talk to admissions, you can always email me, and then we can look into why it is that you place where you placed. But as I said many times, it's easier for you to just go into the classroom and find out if that is the right level for you. It's likely that we got the right placement, but we're happy to answer any questions you may have. New 10th and 11th grade students, you have different choices because your graduation requirements may be different than the rest. So you will have at some point in mid-May or mid to late May, you will get to meet with me and your grade level dean. And at that point, we are going to review your course selections and see what it is that you need to do to make sure that you meet our graduation requirements. So again, you will get an email from admissions to make sure that you know when you can come and talk to me. And we can, I can offer you more electives at this point, because of time I cannot show you, but you will have a chance to do that. Lastly, on August 19th, that is the date when you will have access to your finalized course listing. And what that is a document where you can see all the courses that are officially on your schedule. If you chose, say, course as your elective, and you see it listed on your finalized course listing, it means that that was your first choice and you got into the class. If you chose a different elective and let's just say you chose dance ensemble and it's not on your finalized course listing, it means there was a conflict. And if that happens, hopefully it won't happen, but if it does happen, then you contact me directly and then we can see what else we can offer you as an elective, okay? You will also have a chance to see the courses that you, the books and resources that you need to purchase for the courses that you are going to be enrolling in for next year, okay? Now, in terms of your actual schedule, you will have access to that on orientation day, and you will hear more about that from Mr. Lees and Ms. Pepper. And let me call Mr. Lees back to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Romero. So just really briefly, one of the questions we get fairly often from families that are new is, when do we get grades? So I just wanted to put this up here so you could sort of see and understand the structure of the grading cycle here. The only time you ever actually get a report card with quote-unquote real grades on it will be at the end of a semester. We don't have a quarter-based system. We have a semester-based system, so the report cards, your transcript that gets sent to colleges will only have your semester and then year-long grades. We do have what we call interim grades, early November and early April. So if you are used to a school that has quarter grades, it's sort of on that same timeline, but those are really just progress grades, like to give you a sort of heads up, this is how you're going so far in the semester. It's about halfway through each semester. But just so you understand, we are a semester-based school, so all the grades in terms of final reporting is actually based on the semester. I wanted to take a chance now to talk a little bit about the college counseling process. Now, part of me hates talking about that because you're not even in 9th grade yet for most of you. But again, we do get a lot of questions, so I wanted to be upfront and give you a little bit of a view of what that might look like. We have 4 full-time college counselors. The national average for college counseling load in the U.S., I think, is 380 to 1. We're about 25 to 30 to 1, so a little less than 10% of the national average. So you'll get a lot of individualized attention. I will go into a little bit more detail, but if you remember nothing else from this section, take your time, don't stress. You'll get to where you need to get to, don't rush it. In terms of 9th grade and 10th grade, you can see sort of what the to-do list looks like. 9th graders, your to-do list is go to school. Go to school, engage with school, get involved with clubs, play a sport, develop some really good study habits. I had a friend who was a college counselor for a long time, and he would not meet with a student unless the first meeting they had was about what they were reading outside of school. So read a book. It's a great way to develop the learning for learning's sake as opposed to learning because that's what you were told to do. 9th grade is about establishing yourself in the school community, and the rest of it really takes care of itself. 10th grade, we get a little bit more in terms of a to-do list. We want you obviously to build off of what you were able to develop in 9th grade in terms of study skills, visiting teachers, advocating for yourself. If there was something you didn't get to in 9th grade that you wanted to, a club or an activity, try it in 10th grade. It's not too late by any means. There are some events associated with the 10th grade year. Students generally take the PSAT in 10th grade for the first time. There are some workshops that we offer that you can see towards the bottom of the right-hand side there. If you're traveling with family, try to visit a college campus just to get a sense of what those feel like. You might think in the back of your mind you want to go to a big public research institution. Go check one out, even if it's not one that you're specifically interested in, just to get a feel of what a college campus feels like, and if you can sort of envision yourself in one environment or the other. In 11th grade, things do definitely start to pick up a bit. We still want you to focus on doing as well as you can in school. Take classes that will challenge you, but challenge you at an appropriate level, not challenge you to the point where you can't keep up or you're not actually learning the important material. There's a zone of optimal discomfort, and we don't want you to go too far outside of that because it creates all sorts of issues moving forward. You can start meeting with the admissions representatives from colleges and universities when they start showing up on campus. They're typically here in the fall, so it's a great opportunity to get to know more about a school. You'll take the PSAT again, and then once our seniors hit their November deadlines, that's when our college counseling office will start scooping you up as juniors, and you'll have some meetings associated with that. You'll take the SAT or the ACT for the first time, most likely, and you can see a few other options, essays, all sorts of recommendations, lots of fun stuff. And then 12th grade, there is some work to do the summer before 12th grade, really finalizing what your list looks like, and then you'll be working alongside our college counseling office as you work through that process. Again, try not to look too far down the road with this. It can be as stressful as we allow it to be. I would encourage all of you to keep it all in perspective and know that for the most part, and I'm looking at my colleagues over there who have as much, if not more, experience than me, kids wind up where they're supposed to. They wind up where they're supposed to wind up. So focus on the experience. And if you focus on the experience, all of this stuff, hit the deadlines, but all of this stuff will also take care of itself as well. So college counselors will be here to support you, especially starting junior year, but you have a lot of other support structures in place, especially as you transition to school. Every student here has a grade dean who follows them for their entire journey. So if you are coming in next year as a 9th grader, you will have the same grade dean until you graduate. They'll actually read your name at graduation. It's pretty fun. And one of those people, Ms. Pepper, is going to join me up here in a second. Ms. Pepper is the dean for our current senior class of 2024, and she will be the grade dean for the class of 2028. And she's going to share a little bit more about some of the support structures that we have, some of the things you can look forward to with your transition. And she's just a great person to know. So even if you're not in her class, know Ms. Pepper. She's the best. All right, Ms. Pepper.
Good evening. As Mr. Lee said, I'll have the honor of being the grade dean for the class of 2028. Wow, that seems like so far in the future, but it'll probably be here before we all know it. So what exactly is a grade dean? The grade dean stays with the students for all 4 years, from orientation day, day 1, to commencement senior year. Why do we do that? Because it provides continuity. The dean really gets to know the student and their families because we're together for so long. And while your advisor will be your first point of contact, the dean works with the advisor to ensure that each student has the optimal experience at MBS. And how do we do that? Well, we oversee academic progress, social, emotional well-being, engagement, things of that nature. So how do we get the students to engage? Let's start with this. So what are the support systems that we have besides your grade dean? You have your advisor, and we're going to go over that in a few minutes. Your teachers obviously all care about you and have plenty of office hours and time to see you outside of class. We have some wonderful guidance counselors in addition to our college counselors. The deans, we have a full nursing staff. The CTL, that's the Center for Teaching and Learning, and here I'd like to introduce Dr. Kim Potratz, if she could stand and wave to everybody. She's a wonderful person to get to know, too. And then we have DEIB with Clarissa Carrison here, and of course our division head, Mr. Lee. So there's so many people and your senior leadership team, administration, that are here for you and care about you and want the best for you. So let's get back to engagement. So how do we want you to engage in your classes, obviously, but we don't want you to just be here during the school day and go home. We want you to be part of our community and feel that sense of belonging. And how do you do that? Getting involved in clubs. We have so many. You could be a club leader as a 9th grader even maybe and start your own club. Or look for leadership from the older kids if you want to, if you're not sure about that. We have athletics, we have performing arts, class activities, you name it. So there are plenty of ways to engage. Okay, let's see, where do I, this, okay, thank you. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first day that we really all get to know each other is upper school new student orientation. And that is not only for 9th graders, but that's also for transfer students who are coming in for 10th and 11th grade. I'm not sure if we have any of those folks here tonight, but I do want to mention that. So it's on campus on Thursday, August 29th, so mark your calendars because we really want you all to be here for that. And that's really a low-stakes day. It's a day to really get to know your class, your advisor, your peer leaders through fun activities, a scavenger hunt. We have lunch together. It's really a nice day, and we want you to bond early. So that's kind of the purpose of the day. And you're going to spend time in your advisory, perhaps setting goals for yourself, things of that nature, just preparing for the year. And one thing we do to try to ease the transition is we make sure that you get to find your classes the day before the first day of classes. So at orientation, we'd take a tour of campus. You can find where your advisory is, where your classes are, so you don't have that nervousness on the first day. So what is advisory? So for example, there's typically about 12 advisors depending on the class size. I'm told this is a pretty big class, so I think we'll probably have more than 12 advisors. Typically there's 8 to 10 students per advisory, so you're together for 2 years and you really get to know each other. And it's your home base. It's your check-in for 5 minutes in the morning, and then we have a weekly advisory period on Monday for about a half an hour. And again, it's just you're building that relationship with your advisor. They're your advocate, your first line of defense. If anything, you need anything, you go to them. You get to know your peers in that group. We foster student academic, social, and personal growth and help them manage the demands of the academic and extracurricular program. Advisors are your mentors. Lots of mentors here. Okay. A little bit more about advisory because we want to make sure you understand what that is. Advisors support you, 9th graders, by helping you set goals. Like I said, you probably do that on the very first day, maybe even. They assist with all those course requests that Ms. Romero spent all that time going over. That may have seemed daunting, but your advisor is really going to spend a lot of time with you. We have a lot of time dedicated to picking out the right courses as you progress throughout the years. They serve as your advocate, and they show interest in you. They want to know what you're doing and making sure you're engaged, that you're not going home at 2:35 or 3 o'clock, that you're getting involved in campus in some way that suits you. They also facilitate parent-guardian conferences. We have 2 a year. We just had them today, and we have one back in the fall. And again, the first point of contact, and it's, again, your advisor is the person who really cares about you and gets to know you first, and I hope that you all have a good experience there. But I, again, am the dean, and we sort of oversee that and hope that everybody has the best experience they can. And talking about experiences, and next up is Ms. Clarissa. You're up next. Ms. Carrison's up next to talk about our DEIB program. Is Tosh here too?
Good evening. I'm Clarissa Carrison. I'm the Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. I'm excited because I actually have a current 8th grader, so my child will be in the 9th grade class, and I also have a child who will be an 11th grader next year, so it's awesome. I am really, really fortunate to work with Mr. Valentine, who is actually coaching a lacrosse game at this moment. But his office is in the middle school, but he's our head football coach. He coaches lacrosse. He's really awesome, and I guarantee your child will probably meet him within the first month of school, and he will be giving them quotes and cheering them on. We're really, really lucky to have Mr. Valentine. And hopefully if you run into him, you can say hello. I'm going to go a little bit off script. I just want to start by saying this. I am fully aware that this title can feel intimidating or even fearful to some people. So first of all, I'm very kind, I'm welcoming, I love your children. I always have their best interest at heart. I just want to start by saying that. I think that this work can look different depending on where you are, based on maybe your region. I'm from California, it could be based on your workplace. But here, when we say diversity, we really do mean everyone, right? I think in a school like this, each child comes with a different lived experience. We have students who are coming from a 50-mile radius, and to have the expectation that, we can bring all of these students together and they have the same lived experience is pretty absurd. I think exposure to different people and getting to know people's histories and stories and culture is really important, and just as important component to the learning experience. So when we say diversity, we mean, your race, your ethnicity, your religion, your socioeconomic status, maybe the way you learn, your neurodiversity, gender. I know I'm forgetting some, I could go on, but I just want to make it clear that we're really thinking about every single child here. One thing I just want to point out is sometimes, I think in this work, we focus a lot on speakers, we focus a lot on, are you celebrating this month and that month? And listen, all of those things, we do those things, and all of those things really do enrich and expose students to different cultures. But when you really, really want to change the experience of a child, you want to think more deeply, right? You want to ask yourself, what does it mean to have full citizenship in a school? And that means, can I bring every aspect of myself to school? Am I represented? Can I play that sport? Can I go on that trip? So the reason why I share that is I hope that through time, with you getting to know me more, that you'll understand that if we make decisions, if we ask your child to participate in something, I promise you that it's for the benefit of our student body, and that it's not meant to try to change students' ideologies. I think that's some of the conversations around the nation. That's not it. Really, at the end of it, every single person in this room wants their child to be thoughtful, wants their child to have empathy. And I think what we really focus on in our athletic workshops, so if you're playing a fall sport, every single one of you will go through a workshop with Mr. Valentine and I, and in those workshops we're talking about what do you do if you're in a situation and you hear something? What do you do if you're placed in that moment? So we really try to be proactive, but on the flip side, in the classroom, it's guaranteed. Your child is going to hear something they disagree with. Your child may say something that someone might disagree with, and I think the part that's important is how do we work through that? So it's my job and all of our educators here on campus to help your child learn to ask questions. Why? And it doesn't mean that after we hear the response that we go, yes, I totally believe that, that's for me. But at least we're asking students and adults to understand. And after you understand, then you can make that decision, but at least we hear each other out. So a lot of the work that we do is around communication. We do a lot of cool community things. I won't go through every single one of them, but obviously we have clubs, we have speakers. My favorite thing in the entire world is to run retreats, where we bring 22 kids out to the middle of nowhere in Blairstown, and we have them for 3 days, and we just do all kinds of different activities that focus on identity. And it's so much fun. We do a Just Dance competition, and we do paint nights. We run 2 of them, and the one thing I would say to every person in this audience is we added a new one last year, and it was all student-driven. They helped design the curriculum, they led the activities, and that's one of the amazing things about MBS, is if you can dream it and you're willing to put in an effort and the work, then we try to support those ideas and initiatives as much as we can. I think I have one more. Couple things I just want to highlight. This last year, we had the biggest Culture Fest that we've had to date. Culture Fest is a community-wide event, so students, families. I strongly encourage you, when you see the signups in September, to think about having a booth, think about, maybe sending in food, any contributions. It's really, really important for our kids to see different families here, taste different things, listen to different music. So what I would say, I would encourage you, if you see Culture Fest. The other plug that I'm going to give is we have a group that we are bringing back, a series called Crimson Conversation Series. We're going to bring it back next year, and it really is going to be a partnership with our office, guidance, all of the amazing people that you have here that offer supports. And they're going to be conversations, right? So the first one will be around belonging and friendships. We'll have one on cancel culture, because I know many students right now are really worried about that. Maybe we'll have one on allyship and supporting your LGBTQ IA teen. So again, look out for those. And the very last thing that I'm going to say is we also have a parent group called the Multicultural Collaborative. It's open to every person in this community who has an interest in, fostering a community of belonging and, engaging in conversations that parallel some of the conversations that we're having with your children. So again, thank you very much. I look forward to going through the 9th grade journey with you. I'll be stressed out. I won't be stressed out. I love this place. This place is amazing. And you don't have to worry about your children. Okay, and the next up and our final presenter is Mrs. Joanne DeZama, who leads our athletic department. Thank you. Program.
Thank you, Carissa. Thank you all for joining us this evening to explore the possibilities for you, our new students, for next year at MBS. As Ms. Pepper mentioned earlier, there are an array of options and activities for you to get involved in next year at MBS. Athletics obviously is just one portion of that, but I would be remiss to not mention that athletics is a huge part of our upper school community. 87% of our upper school students play at least one sport. So here are just some key dates. I think I'm the last speaker before you can head out for some additional snacks. So I will keep my thoughts brief, but it is an awesome opportunity for you to get involved, especially the fall season. Our fall athletes are here on campus at the end of August. You get to meet some, friends, some new people that have a similar interest that you guys would have. Our registration is live right now for our fall sports. I believe that was sent out by our admissions office. Our fall coach letters will be posted on your parent portal, and we're aiming for next week for those to be posted. So there will be some really important dates and some logistics and preseason information in those letters. And then also we look forward to our first athletic parent partnership event, which will be happening on August 1st, and that's for our fall athletes. And that's when our parents come to meet our head coaches. If you are interested, maybe not into a fall sport, but you have aspirations to play a winter or spring season, those registrations will come out once we are in school, so you don't need to worry about that. You'll start hearing about those opportunities in September. But I just ask that you reference any of the fall letters if you're interested in any of the sports. Those start dates are up there, but they will dive a little bit more deeper into some logistics and things that you may need and some fitness things to get you ready. I will also be emailing out a note over the summer to all families. And ultimately, I just look forward to welcoming all of you to the athletic department and watching all of you become a Crimson student athlete. So thank you again, and Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you also. I'm actually the person that's standing in between you and the snacks outside. Just want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I know you've been given a ton of information and it's hard to digest everything that you've heard tonight, but rest assured we will be able to provide everything in detail to you in the coming weeks. Look for an email from the admission office on Wednesday with some additional details and the link to the art forum. Somewhere? Yep. The link to the art forum, and that's where we'll get started. But there's going to be, a lot of additional information for you coming in the next few weeks, and we'll keep that organized. So with that, thank you very much. We went over just a few minutes, but it was important information that you had to have. So on behalf of my colleagues, just want to say thank you for your time this evening, and looking forward to working with you and being your school of choice for the next 4 years. Thank you.